Okay, so today is day number 30, completely restarting and scaling my business from scratch. And today is going to be a big day. We've got no meetings on the calendar, so I want to show you all the work that I'm doing, some massive client wins that have come in, and how I'm actually planning to ramp up client acquisition later on in the month of January. Okay, so to show you what we actually have planned for the day. So first things first is I've done a data backtrack, and I've also gone on to the Slack over here and updated all the clients that I currently have on board. So that's super good to go. Then from that point on, I've done the daily reel and short that's been uploaded to both my channels. That was super simple, just did a little bit of a different format today. Now I'm actually doing the daily vlog, which is going to go live after this. And then after that, what I actually have planned for the day. So to show you my calendar so far, again, I woke up and I read this book for probably most of the morning as I'm still kind of recovering from whatever I actually came down with. But outside of that, I updated all the data, clients, daily reel short as mentioned. Now I'm doing the vlog. Then I'm going into creating the canvases. Essentially what that is as I mentioned yesterday, working on the product, in any given channel, what you essentially can do is if you click into, for example, the wins channel here, which before I do that, we've got some big wins coming on. So first things first is this guy managed to book 4 calls from 8 views, which is absolutely nuts. And then Tamir over here closed a 12.5K deal. Another one, by the way. So that's a super solid here, and it's a split pay. So what a canvas actually is on this little section of your Slack here, you can click canvas and then you can write in this whatever you want. And essentially what I'm going to be doing this for is you can see with each of my clients, I have their actual Slack channels that I have created for them. I'm going to be creating a canvas with their entire roadmap, personal custom plan, details, etc., as my way of kind of running my service delivery. So I don't have to use any external softwares and I can just link things like Google Doc and whatnot in there. So essentially that is going to be what creating the canvases looks like. Creating the template for them is probably only going to take me around an hour or so to do. Filling them out and getting them actual detailed with the client's custom information and plan might take a little bit longer. From that point on, then what I want to do is actually jump over to Monday, which is the CRM that I'm using, and essentially build something out to do the following functions. First things first, I wanted to keep track of all my clients. So I want all my clients in there, and I want to separate the free clients from the paid clients. So free from the paid clients and all the info regarding the actual upsell continuation that they're doing. I want to get that good. Again, I'm running a Tripwire offer where I essentially onboard people for free. The next thing that I want to do is I want to get all of the sales pipeline. So people that I've booked calls with, and for whatever reason they didn't move forward, maybe it was people that I've spoken with in the past, etc. I want all those people in one place just so I can overview it, continue to follow up with them, message them, make sure they are doing well. And then finally, what I also want to do is configure a database reactivation so I can run that off my Instagram. And that's going to be super sick. I want to build all that out today. And then finally, if I actually head over to my YouTube channel, as you can see here, I actually did a little bit of a different format yesterday, and you'll probably actually click on this video and see it today using this more formalized thumbnail style. And essentially what I want to do is I want to go through all the days of 30 that I've actually been doing. I've uploaded consistently for 30 days now, and essentially just pull and switch all the titles and thumbnails to this format right here, which is going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be kind of like VA boring work to a certain extent, but only I can do it, unfortunately, and make sure that the entire series is formal and something that people could follow and get really invested into. So that's going to be a very big thing that I'm happy to be rolling out today. And if I can get all of that done, essentially what I want to do going forward in my actual plan for this week is first off, I want to optimize my Instagram. So on my Instagram right now, essentially I have this issue where it just looks like a random page and doesn't actually show what I do, how I do it, and how it works. So I essentially want to get all that figured out. Then I want to run a database reactivation so I can get my upsell process a lot more down. The biggest bottleneck in the business right now is pretty much just the upsell. So essentially, I'm really able to get people on to this free lead magnet offer like very, very easily. I believe I have a 100% close rate. My acceptance rate is not 100% just because some people aren't qualified. And essentially now what I need to do is I need to figure out how to get them into paid, and I need to have data around how many people I'm actually getting pulled over into the paid on a weekly basis. Because as soon as I figure this out, as soon as I scale, I'll be able to sign on 2 clients, 3 clients per day, which is absolutely nuts without even running ads or doing anything like that, just given the existing systems that I have so far in place. So that's going to be something very big for me to figure out that I actually want to get dialed in. A big part of that and what it actually comes down to, and kind of the way that you actually do a product generally in the first place, is you want to focus on everything and every little milestone that someone needs to hit. So in my situation, that comes down to mostly the onboarding process. And then after the onboarding process, the initial ramp up process. Because if someone hasn't got some success, got their first client on board within the onboarding and the initial ramp up process, there's not that much I can do because it shows that there's some more of a problem with their offer or internal processes, and it's going to take a long-winded solution to actually solve. So I'm not going to focus on that since it's not high leverage. What I actually need to do is in the onboarding, I want to go ahead and first off set expectation. That's something that I need to do a really good job of. That with, hey, you get on board with me, you sign your first client, and from that point on, you move on to the paid plan. I need to do a better job of setting the expectation. The other thing I need to do is I need to set a better job of actually tracking and making sure that everyone that comes in, I know where they're at, I know what's going on with them. So I have a bird's eye view of all the people that I have on right now. Because I believe I have on 10 people on this offer right now, and a few of them are actually paid. But of the guys that aren't paid so far, it's very difficult to have a bird's eye view of everything that they have going on, all in their businesses, all at once. Then from that point on, if I can get those two things done, the ramp up period is where the results come in. Essentially, what I want to do is you want to write out all the milestones that a customer would actually go through during the process of working with you. So to give you an example of what that actually looks like, let's say I am getting someone started as a coach. We need to write down all the milestones, such as their first lead, their first appointment, their first client. They go forward and get their first paid client. They go forward and get their first 2,500, first 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. You want to write out every single milestone that someone would actually have to go through. And then from that point on, reverse engineer the work that needs to be done to make it unreasonable to see success at each stage. So for example, if I can get someone on board and I can run a combination of a database reactivation with them, I can run a combination of that with cold DMs and a content push. And from that, they're able to get their first client on board, and I can do that for 50% of the people I get on board. Essentially, I'm now able to close at a ridiculously high rate on an insane offer and move people onto that paid. So a big part of what my bottleneck actually is just finding the time to actually refine those processes, make sure it's going as good as it possibly can. And then as continue and time goes on, here's what's going to happen. So right now, I have something extremely good that is free. And the reason I have something that is free is because my attention, so A represents attention, is not correlative to the time that I have. I have more time than I have attention. So in an effort to actually go forward and have, and that's going to be the other way around. So it would be more so like this. So if I have it like this, my time is all the way up here. And as a result, I want to match my attention to that, because right now I don't have the ability like someone like William Brown or people with more and more followers in my space to actually go forward and say, hey, it's going to be this crazy amount up front. Here's how it's going to work. Because I don't have the leisure right now of denying and disqualifying thousands of people, because I don't have thousands of people knocking at my front door just yet. So what I'm doing is I'm actually matching that with the kind of offer that I have, which is something for free, again, that I can close at a ridiculously high rate. And as my attention keeps rising, let's say I catch some really big YouTube traction, what's going to happen is I will slowly but surely actually just adjust the kind of time and attention ratio. And what that would mean is that the free offer that I have would go into a small deposit up front, and then it would go paid, and then it would go even more paid, and it would go even more paid. But essentially, it's the process of knowing where you're at in the overall journey so that you can price and actually charge people according to that. And if I can do all of that and build it out into my product, it's going to be a very, very productive week. And to show you what I have for the rest of the month planned, I want to create a mastermind with all the clients and people I have on board right now. That's going to be very huge as I begin to leverage out more and more of my time, because when I onboard someone for free, I won't be able to do one-to-one with them. Let's say after I have 25 clients and whatnot. Then from that point on, I want to keep tracking my calendar analytics, because to show you something very cool here, if I go to, let's see, my bookmarks and I go to Google Analytics, hopefully this loads quickly. Okay, cool. So showing you this, I essentially am tracking the amount of people that land on my calendar. So if I go to, let's say, this video here, and I were to go to this description link here, I'm tracking every single person that opens this from the Calendly to the actual fact that they convert. And what I essentially want to be doing is I want to get this KPI down to anywhere between 5 to 10%. And depending on how that actually works, I might actually go through the process of running out a thank you for booking or an unlisted nurture VSL. And essentially, that is the only thing that I'm watching for. Outside of that, it's just about dialing in and acquiring people on Instagram, making my product better in the actual sense of upselling people and getting all the prefabbed work done, which is what I'm actually going to be doing today. And if I can get all that done, I'm actually positioned to do a pretty big month in the month of January, just by continuing the actions that I know are going to lead me to success, keeping this content coming out, and just doing great work. So yeah, I hope that the value that you got from this video is worth the time that you spent. And yeah, this organic style I'm liking a lot more. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I'll see you in the next one.